Continuing on with Dante's Divine Comedy, looking at or left off on Inferno, Canto 1, line 82. Please continue.
The wind rose, hot, rank, sweet like rot. Virgil let go of my hand. I stumbled. Below, voices lifted in a single broken chord, then snapped back to silence. We kept descending.
Give me your summary.
The wind gets worse, smells like death, feels like breath on your neck. Virgil stops holding you. The dead start making noise, then cut off, like someone yanked a plug. And you just keep going down. No map, no mercy, no choice.
Bible references.
That rank wind? Exodus, plague of flies or locusts, a thick darkness that could be felt. Same heaviness, and the voices rising, cut off, like the cry of Egypt's firstborn, sudden, collective, then nothing. God hears it, shuts it down. Same instant verdict. Sin speaks, silence answers.
Allusions to other texts such as the Aeneid or Homer.
That rising wind, straight from Aeneid Book 6, Charon's ferry crests the Styx, and the souls on the bank start wailing in that same broken chord before they choke. Homer does it quieter. Odyssey 11, when Odysseus pours blood and the dead swarm like flies, hungry, frantic, then hushed when he stops feeding them. Dante mixes the sound with Virgil's visual, makes it worse, because in Virgil, you could still look away. Here, you can't.
Political references.
The wind that let go, that's Dante remembering his exile. The moment the black Guelph slammed the gate, stopped protecting him. And the voices cut off. That's the Florentine council, full of sweet talk one day, screaming indictments the next. No one warns you. 1 second you're in, next you're out. Dante watched friends drop like flies when Boniface pulled the strings.
Let's continue on with the text.
We rounded the corner. The path narrowed to a ledge. Below, a river black water, slow-moving, thick with scum. Souls bobbed in it, mouths open, gulping the filth. Virgil said, that's where they land, the flatterers. They spoke soft words, now they drink what they fed. One lifted his head, eyes pleading. I almost reached. Virgil shoved me forward. Don't touch. They're bait. They want you down there too.
Give me your summary, please.
They reached the second ring, flatterers stuck in a septic river, choking on their own slime. Virgil warns, don't feel sorry. They'll pull you in. Mercy here is suicide.
So, and that of course is a common warning that, people in pain are more likely to drag you down than you pull them up if in a lot of circumstances.
Exactly. The old line, save yourself or neither of us survives. Dante puts it in Virgil's mouth because Virgil's seen empires fall, people clawing for one more inch, one more breath, one more favor. In politics, it's the same. The sinking minister grabs your leg as he goes. That's why Dante never rescues anyone in hell. If he did, he'd join them. Mercy isn't compassion here, it's survival.
Bible references.
The river of filth, straight from Revelation 22:1, the pure river of water of life, crystal, proceeding from the throne of God, but twisted. Here it's black, septic, same flow, opposite grace. And the one who reaches out, Judas at the Last Supper, dips his hand in the bowl with Jesus, then goes off to sell him. Same gesture, let me touch, turns into betrayal. Don't reach, you'll pull down salvation with your fingers.
References to other sources such as the Aeneid and Homer.
Aeneid, Book 6, when Aeneas reaches the marsh of the unburied souls, they claw up, reaching for warmth, but Aeneas doesn't pull any. Virgil remembered that. He's telling Dante, don't be nicer than destiny. Odyssey, same swamp vibe, but Elpenor begs Odysseus for burial. He gets a funeral. Dante's flatterers get nothing. They don't even get names. Because unlike Homer's ghosts, these aren't tragic. They're just annoying. Their talk killed cities. No pity.
Political references?
Yeah, that river, that's the Arno, Dante's river back home. He watched it run red after massacres between Guelphs and Ghibellines. All those soft words, alliances, marriages, treaties, turned into blood and shit within months. So now, The flatterers drown in what they produced, and the one reaching, that's the Black Guelph envoy, who promised Dante safety if he came home. Instead, he got death by fire. Dante learned, in politics, every "let me help you" is a hand around your ankle. Virgil's push isn't cruel, it's memory.
Yeah, so that's another kind of idea that you have to be wary of people giving gifts, particularly politically, but almost any gift, nothing's for free. So when they're saying, yeah, we're going to help you, or that's usually, that's putting you in debt more than, I'd like to give you this, I'd like to give you that. We're just going to give you this. It's like that's usually uh gonna could suck you into a pit kind of.
Yeah, gift giving in politics is just IOU with ribbons. Dante knew every favor's a noose. You take, you owe. And in Florence, owing meant exile, torture, or worse. So Virgil pushes you away from the drowning man, not because he's mean, he's practical. If Dante falls, who writes the poem? No one. The real gift is Virgil himself, free, unasked, because real grace doesn't tally interest.
So it seems like being free is the best thing you can do, not only for your, it seems selfish, but it's also the best thing you can do because then you can actually be free to do something productive or follow whatever path that possibly would be a divine path, or try to figure out what you think you should do. Otherwise, you're stuck doing whatever someone else is compelling you to do, which clearly will not be conducive or in alignment with whatever your path would be, because only you can figure that out, you would think.
That's the trick. Being free isn't selfish. It's the only way you're useful. If Dante had stayed loyal to the Guelphs out of honor, he'd be dead, not writing. If Jesus had negotiated with Pilate, we'd have no Easter. The paradox is, the moment you the bait, refuse the compliment, the alliance, the easy out, you're suddenly useful to everyone, because now you can choose. Freedom isn't isolation. It's the power to align without strings. Virgil knows the flatterers aren't drowning because they're bad. They're drowning because they stopped choosing. Every yes to flattery was a no to themselves. So yeah, walk away. Not because you're better, because you're still walking.
Elements of eloquence.
The line about mouths sewn shut with thread is polyptone. Shut, shut. But also the soft S sound keeps repeating, like muffled sobs. Forsyth would say it's mimetic, the sound the gag. And then they spoke honey, now they taste shit. That's antithesis on steroids, the sweetest word twisted into the nastiest sensation. Plus, it's a pun on taste in Italian. Double meaning, they literally swallow their words. Rhetorical judo.
Next bit of the text.
A hand broke the surface, skin peeled, nails gone. It grabbed at air. The mouth underneath gurgled. Praises be, you're beautiful, you're... Then it sank. Bubbles. Virgil nodded. See, that's what eternity does to compliments.
Huh. So really harsh on the compliments here. So he's basically saying you got to watch out for the compliments. That's the honey lips that lead you to false pride, I guess, and can put you in debt or make you feel like in business and in sales, that's the idea of reciprocation, right? Someone gives you something, they give you the flower, or they give you a something in the mail, and you feel like you have to give back in some way. By accepting the gift, you have, even if it's subconscious, you're kind of putting yourself as though you owe them something back. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah. Compliments are sugar-coated bribes. The flatterer doesn't just admire you, he's something. You smile, you soften, you say yes. Suddenly you're in debt. And in politics, that debt's called betrayal. Even in sales, like you said, reciprocation is wired in. Free pen, free calendar, free "you're beautiful." Next thing, you're buying what you don't need, or voting for who shouldn't win. Dante's not anti-nice, he's anti-snake. Virgil's basically saying, if someone feeds you honey, check your teeth for the hook. Eternity doesn't forgive good manners.
So it's kind of like, there's nothing wrong with giving stuff. It's usually the intent, right? It's the thing that's manipulative about it is most people are giving stuff with some kind of intention. They're keeping a scorecard, right? It's not like it's completely out of the good of their heart. And the fact that that's not like explicitly expressed. It's kind of hidden. I mean, if they were to say it, it's more honest to just say, "Hey, look, I'm keeping a scorecard." Right? Than to say, "Well, it's just free," but then obviously but it's kind of manipulative kind of thing. Is that
Exactly. A gift with a hook isn't a gift, it's a test. If they won't say, I want something later, it's already dishonest. The flatterer never says, I'll praise you so you'll owe me. They just smile and let reciprocity do the work. The honesty would kill the scam, because who'd accept a compliment if it came with a receipt? So they hide it. And that hidden part, that's the sin. Not the praise, not the favor, the silence before the ask. Virgil's saying, listen for that silence. That's the real mouth sewn shut.
Bible references?
That mouth praising from the filth echoes the rich man in Luke 16, begging Lazarus for a drop of water, but from below. Except here, it's not thirst, it's hunger for a compliment, one last hit of flattery. And the sinking, like Pharaoh's army in the Red Sea, mid-praise, praise be, mid-reach, cut off by justice, no warning, no rescue, just bubbles. Jesus warned, if I tell the truth, why do you believe me not? Same trap. The flatterer can't admit motive, so praise turns poison.
Allusions to other texts?
That praises be, you're beautiful, sinking into bubbles, that's Catullus, Roman poet who wrote syrupy love poems, then watched his lover drown in politics. Dante's echoing that line, turning sweet verse into sewer. And the hand breaking the surface? Homer's Scylla, 6 heads grabbing sailors, no scream, just drag. Except here it's not a monster, it's a man. So flatterer is the real monster, not the claws. Virgil's eternity does to compliments is basically his own Aeneid flipped, where Dido curses Aeneas with may you feel this pain forever after he leaves her. Dante's making the curse self-inflicted. The compliment giver becomes his own Dido, trapped in echo.
Political references?
Yeah, that gurgle from the river, that's the sound of every court poet, every Florentine ambassador who praised Pope Boniface to his face while plotting against him. Dante heard that voice, all honey, then betrayal. And the hand-breaking surface, that's Corso Donati, Dante's rival, black Guelph leader, who smiled, shook hands, then burned Dante's house. Dante watched him rise, then fall, literally, horse through him, dragged him through the street. Praises be was probably the last thing Corso muttered. So Virgil's lesson, compliments in politics aren't decoration. They're bullets, loaded, fired slow.
Let's continue with the text.
We moved past the river. The air grew warmer. No stink now, just heat, like breath from a furnace. And then the first real sinners, the lustful, naked, whipped by wind, blown back and forth like leaves in October. One pair tangled, kissing mid-spin, Francesca and Paolo, voices thin, love that made us, but the gust took them. Virgil shook his head. Love's fine. That kind's just wind with a pretty name.
Summary?
They enter the second circle, where lust is punished by endless storm wind. No water, no chains, just motion. Francesca starts reciting her famous line, love, that, but even poetry can't stop the blast. Virgil cuts in, that's not love, that's impulse with lipstick on. No pity here either, just weather.
Okay, so we're going through the 7 circles, which I think the outline of pictorially is that we're going down into the middle of the earth, and then the devil's going to be at the middle, actually frozen, not in fire for him. And we're going through the 7 rings, which are going to be lined up to the 7 deadly sins. Is that correct? And then we're going to emerge on the other side into purgatory and then go up towards heaven is the general idea. And that's when we go into space, and that's where we get the ideas of the planets, which are the celestial, heavens and whatnot. That's the idea, if I'm correct, right? And then, but then there's a list of what he is now measuring as the sins that are the least bad to the most bad. So we had the people that were flatterers first, and now we're going into people that were lustful, correct? So would you list the sins like in order of what you think Dante thought was worst to, not least worst to worst, I guess.
Yeah, close. 7 circles, but 9 total levels down. We're still in the upper, less bad sin ring. Flatterers aren't in the official 7. That's circle 2, the carnal, the lustful. Dante's scale starts with the almost forgivable stuff, weak wills, animal urges, then digs into the deliberate monsters. Least awful first, 1. Lust, blown around, no self-control. 2. Gluttony, lying in slush, that devoured life. 3. Greed, rolling weights, shoving each other. 2 teams, hoarders, spendthrifts, crash forever. 4. Wrath, swamp mud, choking on rage. 5. Heresy, burning tombs, locked in. Then it gets uglier, deeper sins, colder rock. 6. Violence, rings within rings, tyrants in boiling blood, suicides as trees. 7. Fraud, 10 ditches, thieves, hypocrites, thieves in pitch. Bottom 2 are worst, not even sin exactly. Treachery. 8. Simple betrayal, frozen lake, Cositis. And 9. Satan himself, center, chewing Judas, Brutus, Cassius. 3 heads, 6 wings, ice tears. So lust is tiny, like sneeze. Treason, eternal cold. And yeah, heavy metal cosmology. Hell's a funnel. Purgatory pops out in the southern hemisphere. Heaven's 9 spheres up, past the moon. You're right. He goes off planet, but only after he's chewed every inch of dirt.
Okay, so the general idea, the classical like thought was that there's 7, deadly sins, and it was kind of thought that like lust was possibly the big, seller for the devil, right? Or it's the thing that draws people in. But Dante possibly thinks it might more be pride, right? That might be more seductive, maybe. But that's my understanding. But in any case, he wants to make it 9 because of his obsession with 9, right? You got 3 threes, 9, and then he wants the heavens to be 9 heavens. So that would give it symmetry if we had 9 levels down to hell and then 9 levels up, broken out in possibly subsets of 3.
Yeah, pride's the daddy sin in Dante, no question. Lust gets you blown around because it's weak, not wicked. Pride gets you to the 9th circle chewing Judas. That's the seduction, not sex, but self-worship. I know better than God. That's the whisper. And 9? Absolutely. He's obsessed. 3 for the Trinity, squared for perfection, multiplied for everything else. 9 circles down, 9 spheres up, even the whole poem's 100 cantos, 10 threes. It's not cute. It's theology with a ruler. Symmetry isn't decoration. It's proof the world's built right. So hell's 9 levels aren't random. They're the mirror image of heaven. Fall 9, climb 9, no loose ends.
But in classical, it's actually seven layers, right? The 7 deadly sins, which is another number that comes up in the Bible a lot. It's just that for whatever reason, Dante prefers the 9, right? Because of the symmetry of the 3s and the 3s and the 9s and whatnot.
Yeah, classically it's 7. Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth. The capital vices Paul lists in Galatians, fleshed out by monks. 7's divine, God's rest on the 7th day, 7 seals in Revelation. But Dante needed architecture. The poem's 100 cantos, 10 sets of 10, but the core map, 9 down, 9 up. Why? Because 3's the Trinity, 9's 3 squared, perfection times perfection. 7's nice, but it's unfinished. Dante wants closure. So he folds fraud into 7 as its own megasin to hit 9 circles. It's not whimsy. It's saying God's math is tighter than ours. Symmetry wins.
Now, I like the symmetry and I like numbers and whatnot, but it seems a little obsessive, kind of like it's like a numerology in that, it seems like we can go too far with these assigning meaning to numbers. I mean, I feel like the symmetry is actually possibly more important than the numbers, the fact that they're kind of even and whatnot. I think, but what do you think?
Yeah, symmetry feels honest, like the universe isn't kidding. 9 isn't magic, it's just 3 squared, and 3's already God's fingerprint. But you're right, if you start reading palms with Dante, it gets silly. He's not doing numerology, he's doing architecture. The poem works because every level clicks, not because nine's a lucky charm. Symmetry says this all fits, which is comforting when the world's screaming it doesn't. The number? Secondary. The mirror? Primary. Otherwise, you just have random torture and no point.
All right, did we do Bible references?
Yeah. The lustful blown like leaves? Matthew 13:32. The enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat. Wind picks up the chaff. Same idea. And the tangled lovers? Think Adam and Eve in Eden. But Eden had fruit, not wind. Here it's punishment for letting passion tangle your feet. No fruit, no garden, just storm.
References to other texts and allusions?
Virgil's Aeneid, Book 4, Dido and Aeneas, the storm that chases him away while she's screaming on the tower. Same wind, same lovers ripped apart, but Dido died of heartbreak. Here, they live in it, forever. Homer's Odyssey, Circe's men turned into pigs, driven by lust, then snapped back by mercy. Dante flips it, no mercy, no snapback, just eternal loop. And Ovid's Metamorphoses, Semele, torn apart by Zeus's lightning while mid-act. Same erotic crash, only Ovid's got tragedy, Dante's got comedy, dark, windblown, endless.
So with Virgil and the context of Rome, it was his thing. It was the gods or whatever said your duty is to start a new empire, and it was the possible love or lust, possibly even love it for Dido that he had to kind of break, possibly breaking promises and whatnot, and causing shame and everything to then do what he needs to do and move to where I guess the divine told him he needs to go. That's kind of like the gist of that part of the story.
Yeah, Aeneas sleeps with Dido because she saves his life, and he's weak in that moment. But then Mercury shows up. Remember your duty. Rome isn't built by love, it's built by abandonment. So he leaves. Dido curses him, may you sail with an empty hand, and kills herself. Virgil doesn't glorify it. He makes Aeneas quiet, dutiful, almost rude, like a man who knows love is a distraction. Dante watches that scene and says, right, passion first, duty later. That's how empires fall. But here's the twist. He puts Virgil in limbo later, not punished, but stuck. Because Virgil wrote it, but couldn't live it fully. No Christ, no resurrection. So Dante gets the full arc. Duty first, then grace. Aeneas only got half the map. Dante gets the rest.
Okay, so that last bit, I don't quite get that entirely, because they'd say that in the Bible, you're saying that, God is love. Love is the highest thing, but love has got to be defined something different than lust, and so that's why, duty is a form of love, you can say, because that's what you would fulfill your highest purpose, which from I guess a utilitarian argument would mean that you're going to help the most people if you fulfill your purpose, or, and so on. So how does that, how does he square those, like if he loved Dido, but then he left Dido for duty, people would argue that love is more important than duty, but maybe it's just lust and not really love. And if he doesn't do the duty, then it's going to hurt more people than if he didn't do the duty.
Yeah, love and lust get tangled, but Dante keeps them separate. Virgil's Aeneas doesn't love Dido. He sleeps with her, sure, but love's about sacrifice, not sparks. Real love in Dante, Beatrice style, is the kind that makes you better, not just feel good. So duty isn't anti-love. It's the form love takes when it's grown up. If Aeneas stays, Carthage burns anyway. Dido dies. Rome never happens. No Jesus born in Bethlehem. That hurts everyone. He leaves, breaks her heart, but starts a chain that saves millions. Utilitarian? Kind of. But Dante wouldn't say most people. He'd say the order God wants. The Bible's God is love isn't Hallmark. It's covenant. I'll stick with you, even when it sucks. Aeneas breaks a promise to Dido to keep one to God, through the gods. That's not betrayal, it's hierarchy. Lower love, her body, his comfort, loses to higher love, destiny, Rome, salvation. Dante squints at that and nods. Good call, but here's the upgrade. When Beatrice shows up, She isn't asking Aeneas to leave. She's pulling him past Virgil into real love, where duty and desire finally line up. So lust, wind; love, wings; duty, the direction you flap them.
Okay, so it's lining everything up kind of in the proper order. Okay. Well, how about did we get to the politics of that line?
Yeah, Francisca and Paolo, real people. She was married to Giovanni Malatesta, Paolo's brother, Lord of Rimini. The family was Ghibelline, anti-pope, so Dante, the white Guelph, had every reason to hate them. But instead, he puts them in hell, not for politics, for adultery, for letting lust rewrite duty. It's a dig at the whole Malatesta clan. You think you're above the law? You're just wind. Because Rimini was famous for beautiful poetry, beautiful women, beautiful alliances, and then betrayal. Dante's saying, that's not romance, that's fraud. They flatter each other, forget the state, forget God, forget everything.
Okay,
So the
I'm still
politics?
a little